All right, how's it going, guys? Coach Braden here with Look Like You Lift, and we're gonna be going over the deadlift. Now, we actually teach the deadlift in a 5-step sequence. If we go through these 5 steps, it's actually really simple. We're taking deadlift in and of itself is actually fairly simple. You pick up a weight and you put it down. Rule number 1 when it comes to these 5 steps is the barbell has to stay over the middle of the foot the entire time. Okay, if at any point in the lift or any of these 5 steps, if the barbell deviates from the middle of the foot, we have to start over and we have to go back to where the barbell is at the middle of the foot. That's really important. So I'm gonna have Preston go ahead and just step toward the bar. We're gonna start with his stance first. So stance for him is actually gonna be about hip width apart. So actually a little bit wider. Okay, so directly under the hips. And then from here, he's gonna turn his toes out about 20 degrees, right there. So that's his deadlift stance. Okay, so now with this stance, he's going to approach his bar until it gets over the middle of the foot. Now, if you take a look at your shoe, most shoes will have a little knot right here, like this little piece of fabric or material. This is kind of a good marker that you can look for the middle of your foot. So I'm gonna have Preston actually step toward the bar until the barbell covers that part of his shoe. So step back, about right there, okay? So this is about the middle of his foot. Now, from this point forward, the barbell can't leave that spot, okay? So that's step number 1. Step number 2 is we're gonna bend over and grab the bar without bending the knees, okay? So without bending the knees, you're gonna bend over, grab the bar, and his grip is gonna be just outside of his legs, so right there, okay? Step number 2, again, without moving the barbell, he's gonna drop his hips down until the shin makes contact with the bar. Right there. We're gonna keep your arms straight as well, okay? That's step number 3. Step number 4 is he's going to squeeze the back and lift up the chest so that his nipples are pointed at that wall in front of him and his butthole is pointed at the wall behind him. And he's gonna keep his eyes about 12 feet ahead. So you're gonna look down just slightly, look down a little bit more, look down more. There we go. Okay, so he's got a big chest, lower back is an extension. He probably feels a little uncomfortable, like your back's probably really tight now, right? It's exactly what we want. Step number 5 is we're going to lift the bar up while keeping contact against the leg the entire time. Pull. Okay, good. And again, bringing it down, we're gonna keep it in contact with the leg the entire time. Okay, step, and now let go of the bar, stand up, step away. That's 1 rep. Now we're gonna do another repetition. We're gonna do 5 of these, following those 5 steps. And once I can see that he's proficient at that, we'll then do it all in 1 set. Okay, so we're gonna do that again. So step towards your bar. Assume your stance, barbell's over the middle of the foot. So that's too close. So that would be more like a stiff leg deadlift, so step back and touch. About right there. Okay, so that's step number 1. Step number 2. We're gonna bend over and grab the bar without bending the legs. Good. Oh, you move the bar. So stand up, step away, do that, try it again. Okay, step number 1, step number 2. Okay, step number 3 is drop the hips until the shins touch the bar. Good. Now what we're looking for here is that the shoulder is still slightly in front of the barbell and we don't wanna drop the hips too low. Okay, now step number 4, squeeze up the chest, look down still. Good. And step number 5, drag it up the legs. Okay, drag it back down. Let go, stand up, do it again. So now this time, Preston, I'm not gonna have you step away from the barbell, but you are going to stand up, and if you finish the repetition, you do everything correctly, the barbell will still be over the middle of the foot, okay? So step number 1, step number 2. Okay, step number 3, shins to bar, good. Step number 4, lift the chest. Step number 5, drag it up. Okay, and then drag it down. Okay, let go, stand up. So it's just slightly in front of the middle of the foot. And if you watch the video back, you'll see what happened. The barbell actually floated away from the leg as you brought it down. We wanna make sure it makes contact the entire time. Okay, so let's do it again. Shins to bar, good, big chest. Look down and drag. Good, drag it down. Let go, stand up. Okay, there you go. See how it's over the middle of the foot? Okay, 1 more rep. Big chest, drag it up. Good. Keep it against the leg, let go, stand up. Beautiful. Okay, so now we're gonna load up just a little more heavy, and we're going to have him do the entire set without having to step away from it, because he's shown that he understands how to keep it over the middle of the foot. So now we can make it a little bit heavier. So it's important to understand the physics of the deadlift. Two things have to happen for the barbell to come off of the ground. The shoulder has to be slightly in front of the barbell, and the barbell has to be directly over the middle of the foot. Okay, these aren't just like arbitrary rules that we've made up. These are rules that obey the laws of physics that allow for us to have the least path of resistance when doing a deadlift. So let me explain. If I have my stance, if I get set up in my deadlift, and I actually, so as you can see, if I were to pull from here, those two things are satisfied. If I exert any kind of effort, the barbell will come off the ground. But if I actually drop my hips lower, like you might actually see, my shoulders are now behind the barbell, and the barbell's way over my middle of the foot. Okay, so what will happen when I actually exert force is I will pull, and the barbell will roll until it gets over the middle of the foot and the shoulder is in front of the barbell, and then it comes off the ground. But the problem with that is how much effort was wasted in that 5 or 6 inches of rolling until it was finally able to come off the ground. Okay, and again, these aren't rules that we just made up. These are rules that have to obey the laws of physics. So that's why we have these rules in place, and that's why it's so important that we have the barbell over the middle of the foot at all times. Does that make sense? Cool. We're gonna do a full set of 5. You're not going to stand up in between each repetition, but if at any point in the lift I do see the barbell is floating away from middle of the foot, I will make you stop and we will start over, okay? Okay? So really, Preston is only resetting the step number 4 and the step number 5 now that he is doing a full set. Okay, stop. We're losing a little bit of rounding in the lower back, so make sure that you get your lower back in extension before you pull. Last one. Very good. Okay, let go, stand up, and it was over midfoot. That is how you do the deadlift.